Hey folks, I'm Chris and I'm your Commander Mechanic. Real quick before we get started, I wanted to remind everybody about our affiliates, Hairy Tarantula and TCG Player, and that you can follow me on Twitter at CMDRMechanic and help support us on Patreon. Links to all of these are in the description below. One of the biggest boons out of Strixhaven is that it's redefined the red-white color identity. Boros, as it's been known, has always been about attacking and combat-related abilities, making creatures bigger, making more creatures, on attack triggers. You get it. But Lorehold is different. We're now seeing red-white play with the graveyard much more. We've seen Joffrey and Quintorius builds here on the channel previously, linked up top, but let's take a look at how Lorehold now has one key thing Boros has never had. Ramp. Our Commander 2021 face legend, Osgir the Reconstructor, may not look like the best ramp engine ever to be printed in these colors, but you would be mistaken. First, let's break them down. Osgir here is a 4-mana, 4/4 Vigilant Giant Artificer from Lorehold. That on its own is a good body that can accomplish a lot, but we have two key activated abilities. The first lets you pay 1 and sacrifice any artifact to pump a creature's power by 2. This is important because it'll let us get artifacts into our graveyard. Osgir's second ability then exploits these artifacts in our graveyard. By paying their mana value and tapping Osgir, we make 2 copies of any artifact we exile from our yard. Fans of the channel know that I love to copy permanents, and Osgir can help us in colors that don't normally get that effect. Sure, red and white have always made creature tokens, but Osgir can let us get wacky, fast. The key way we're going to do this is with artifact-based mana ramp. Normally, I jam-pack lists with signets and talismans galore, but Osgir can make use of some often neglected mana rocks. Specifically, 0-mana mana rocks that some would call bad or subpar. Since they don't have a mana value, you simply need to tap Osgir to make multiple copies of them. Take for instance this trio: Mox Tantalite, Lotus Bloom, and Lotus Petal. While Lotus Petal sees some play at higher power levels, it's not a ramp option you jam into every deck. Same with Mox Tantalite and Lotus Bloom. With no way to cast them outside of their suspend cost, they're relegated mostly to decks that can cascade into them for their ramping benefits. However, our big friend Osgir loves these and can really exploit them. For instance, you can play a Lotus Petal and sacrifice it for a mana, then tap Osgir to make 2 more copies of it and exile it from your yard. When was the last time red and white had that efficient of mana generation? Never! With Lotus Bloom, you can exile it from your yard and you have a 6-mana, 0-cost ritual out of nowhere. That's huge value and can result in some massive plays. This also works with a few other cards, notably the artifact lands. Ancient Den, Great Furnace, it's an okay furnace, and Darksteel Citadel. Osgir can make multiple copies of lands for you since they are artifacts. And ramp that sticks around like that, in these colors, is a rare occurrence we don't normally get. Then there's everyone's friend Solemn Simulacrum. While it does cost a little more mana than the previous inclusions, this is a card draw and ramp engine, in colors where both of these are very rare. Great to see more options opened up. This all gets even better if we factor in the All-Star Anointed Procession. Since it doubles all tokens created, and Osgir creates tokens, well, that's double our ramp capabilities. 5 Lotus Petals in one turn, 4 Mox Tantalite in play at once, or 4 Lotus Blooms making you 12 mana in a single turn. This ramp goes crazy. Now, Anointed Procession will also double up treasure tokens to assist with ramping, either from Monologue Tax, Smothering Tithe, or Dockside Extortionist. So it's always an option for ramping. And we have Red's one-time rituals like Mana Geyser or Jeska's Will. But those are all spells that you have to pay for. Osgir gets us free money, or free real estate, free ramp. The other thing Osgir can help with is card draw. White is notoriously light on card draw, and red relies on wheels to refill your hand. That's definitely something we do want some of in this deck, as selectively putting cards into our graveyard helps with this strategy, but Osgir can help us dig deeper as we excavate useful artifacts. Small cantripping artifacts, for instance, like Conjurer's Bauble, are stellar includes that aren't normally seen anywhere else. For just 2 mana, its original cost and Osgir's activated ability, you can draw 3 cards and put 3 cards from your graveyard back into your library. Mishra's Bauble can work the same way, and Ichor Wellspring nets us a card draw when it or copies of it enter or die. That's efficient ways to keep our hands full in Boros, Lorehold. Now, on the theme of ramp, the list I've put together around Osgir is all wheels pointing in that direction. We want ramp on top of ramp on top of ramp, to the point where I've also included the Urza's Land, Power Plant, Tower, and Mine. Normally this is an odd choice in a singleton format like Commander, but we've got a few ways to tutor lands, notably Expedition Map. With Osgir, we only need to cast the map once. Once we activate it and grab the first part of the Urzatron, we can reanimate the map with Osgir, getting 2 copies of the map to go grab the other 2 pieces. Easy. Now, the question, of course, is how are we winning with all of this mana? This is easily a deck that can generate 15 plus mana on turns 4 or 5. How do we win? Well, we're pumping it into X spells. Classic finisher Comet Storm with multi-kicker to finish off all opponents at once, or the new Crackle with Power, which can chunk down opponents fast once you start pumping mana into it. We also have Walking Ballista in the deck, which can represent accumulated incremental value over the course of the game too. If we can't get them all at once, let's get them all eventually. There's definitely some room to spice up the deck if you want to push the power level higher. Mana Crypt is the best 0 mana rock, and can get you a lot of potentially damaging value. If you can survive the experience of getting lightning bolted a few times during your upkeep, this would be a good add for the deck's theme. I've also put Rings of Brighthearth in the list to work with Osgir's activated ability, but you could easily include Basalt Monolith or Grim Monolith to create an infinite mana situation. From there, add in Staff of Domination or the previously mentioned Walking Ballista, and that's how Red-White, of all colors, can close out a game with more mana than any other color of deck. You can check out the full list, kept to a medium power level and a decent budget, in the description below. Be sure to like and comment on this video, as my friend MTG Girl and I are doing a special giveaway related to this video. Check out my socials for more details. As always, folks, good luck and have fun.